بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Before I begin, there was a question last night, and I think I mixed with two, so I probably gave a wrong interpretation. Maybe I'll mention it when we get to the question answer at the end, so there'll be more people at that time. The verse that I recited is talking about the concept of accountability and ma'ad. I believe so. It's the first verse from Surah Anbiya. I did not make a note of that. اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون. The time of people's reckoning has drawn near, and yet they turn aside in heedlessness. So from here we can understand a few words that we, obviously this much Arabic we have learned and we have come up to understand what the word iqtaraba is, talking from the aspect of something being close. Linnas, referring towards the people. Hisab, we know that, what hisab means, accountability, hisab kitab. وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ مُعْرِضُونَ. The word ghaflat is also something which you and I are aware of. So we can, by looking at this ayat, you can understand the gist of it. A layman would be able to understand the gist of it by just looking at these different words that are being used in it, even if you did not know proper Arabic. Here the concept is the concept of accountability in Qayamat. One of the names of Qayamat is Yawmul Hasra or Yawmul Hisab. The day when we will be, doing hasrat. I wish I had done this, I wish I had done this. Or the Yawmul Hisab, the day when accountability will take place. This is so certain that Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib ﷺ, in one of the narrations says, Al-Yawm amalun wala hisaba, wa gadan hisabun wala amala. That today is the time for action, and there's no hisab kitab right now. It is still being documented. But as opposed to tomorrow, when you leave this world, it will be checkout. It will be hisab kitab, and you will not have the opportunity to add on to your amal. So make sure that you get to the amal today before it's too late, because over there will be no way for you to do anything. Yes, there are people they can do on your behalf. That's another thing. But you will not have any opportunity to go ahead and increase one bit as far as your account is concerned. It will be closed, and it will just be hisab kitab over there. So we see that tonight's discussion, inshallah, will be in these areas. First, we will look at the precise accountability in Qayamat, according to Quran, how precise the accountability is. Second, we'll look at the different types of accountabilities. So there are different types that exist as well. Some people have some, the other will have another. Third, we'll look at book of actions that Quran talks about, your kitab al-amal or your, nama amal, as we talk about it. Fourth, we'll see witnesses on the Day of Judgment. What are the things that will be bearing witness or giving testimony? And lastly, forgive and be forgiven. Inshallah, the discussion will be in these 5 areas. I'll go through it very quickly. First is we look at the precise accountability in Qayamat. That when you and I, when we do something, when we conduct a business, we make sure that we are very precise about the accountability of it. We're very precise about the income. We're very precise about the inventory. We're very precise about what goes out, what goes in, who's doing what. All of these things are kept in very precise check, so that there's no lapses, there are no mistakes when it comes to bookkeeping or when it comes to the day of accountability. Similarly, Quran also talks about accountability on behalf of all of us, but in a very precise manner. The first ayat is from Surah Araf, verse number 6, in which everyone will be questioned on the Day of Judgment. None will be left out. So don't think that anyone will be spared of questioning. Now the questioning is one thing and hisab is another thing. The ayat of Quran says, Surah Araf, فَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الَّذِينَ أُرْسِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. That we will surely question to those whom the apostles were sent, and we will surely question the apostles as well. So not just you and I will be questioned on the day of judgment, but even the apostles, those who were sent to guide us, they will be put into this area, and they will be answering the questions as well. That's as far as everyone will be questioned. We look at the preciseness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not spare anyone from that. Second, every single act that we perform will be questioned. وَلَا نَسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And indeed, lam over there on this nas'alunna. Nas'alunna itself is using this noon, noon at the end, which is there, thaqila, noon thaqila towards the end, which is there for emphasis. Then the lam that comes upon it, which is also there for ta'keed, significance and importance, and ta'keed upon ta'keed. There's no doubt, beshak, without a doubt, we will be questioning and surely question concerning what you used to do. There's no doubt about it. Every single act that you have performed, don't think that we overlooked it. Don't think that even people did not see it, but we were watching, we saw it, and it was documented, and it will be questioned on the day of judgment. Number 3, every single organ of the body will be held accountable. So not just the anbiya, not just every single person, not just every single act, deed that you and I have performed, also every single organ of our body will be held accountable. So you see the preciseness, the precision by God as to how He's going to keep this. What does the ayat says? We read the ayat from Surah Isra, Bani Israel, verse number 36. إِنَّ السَّمْعَ وَالْبَصَرَ وَالْفُؤَادَ كُلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. It says, indeed, hearing, the eyesight, and the heart, all of these are accountable. They will be also giving witnesses as well. And then it says, all of God's blessings that He had bestowed upon you. So that was as far as your own individual actions were concerned. But then when God has sent some blessings upon you, every single one of those blessings will be put to question, as we read in Surah Takathur, what? ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. And indeed, then on that day you will surely be questioned concerning the blessings. So here you see the precision as far as God's accountability is concerned. And then lastly, every single small or big act, no matter where it was done, will be presented to you. Again, we refer to the ayat from Surah Luqman. One of the verses where Luqman is giving, advice to his son, he says this. He says, Ya bunayya, إنها إن تكو مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأتي بها الله. No matter where you have done this action, you might say, well, this wasn't done here, so that means God might not ask about it. This was done over there. No, every single place, wherever you might have done this action, the ayat says, oh my son, even if it should be the weight of a mustard seed, and even though it should be in a rock or in the heavens or in the earth, Allah will bring it forth and produce it, so you will not have any opportunity to go ahead and deny that action. Not too long ago, the creation or the discovery, I don't want to use the word discovery, but the invention of television came about. I don't know how long ago, maybe 80, 90 years, 100 years ago, I don't know, maybe a little bit around that time. 75 years, 80 years. So just about 80 years, that's when the television, for example, or the recording or television or cameras, these things were invented and then properly being used. So we see the pictures from these years. Let's say 200 years ago, the Mufassirin who were doing the tafsir of Quran from the very beginning, from the 3rd century or the 4th century, the 5th century up until now, they had very difficult time translating or doing the tafsir of a couple of verses. When we read Surah Zilzal, the last 2 verses says, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرٍ يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرٍّ يَرَهُ. It's easy to translate today in this day and age. But for someone who does not have any concept of television or any concept of recording, any concept of something which is reproduced or placed on a monitor or a screen, how would you go ahead and translate? The ayah says that every atom worth of good deed you've done, Allah will show it to you. You will see it. Every atom worth of bad or evil that you have done, you will see it. So here, there was no concept of something being recorded or produced or presented. But now, back then people, in fact, some of our mufassirin, they had hard time translating or doing the tafsir of these verses. But now you can understand that anything that you do right now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be showing it to you on a high resolution, large screen, that you will not have any way of denying, no, I did not do this, or I was not behind this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Many narrations hint the first thing for which we will be questioned, and I think we mentioned this the other day as well, will be salat. After that, other important affairs such as youth, life, means of earning, your wealth, the place where you spend this wealth, all of these things will be questioned. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَفَى بِنَا حَاسِبِينَ. It is enough for you to realize that we will be doing this accountability ourselves. No one else will be doing it on our behalf. So do not think that we will have any mistake, na'udhu billah, or we will miss anything out. So the first thing which will be questioned is salat. But after that, you will be questioned about all of these important affairs of your life. For example, where did you spend this life of yours? How did you spend this life of yours? Where did you get these earnings from? How did you spend these earnings? All of these questions will be something which will be part of the accountability. The second is different types of accountabilities that exist in Qayamat. So not just, how Allah's, accountability is very precise, but there are different types of, hisab kitab that exist. One, some will have a very easy accountability. Obviously, we know who these people are. The ayat of Quran says, hisaban yasira. Their hisab will be yasir, very simple, very easy. They will not be put through rigorous tests or anything because of what they have already sent forth. Because how they live their lives in this world, their hisab kitab over there will be easy as well. On the contrary, some people will have a very, very difficult hisab and very precise accountability. As the ayat of Quran says, hisaban shadida. At one point it says hisaban yasira, at another place it says hisaban shadida. Your hisab kitab will be precise and difficult. You will have to give account to every single thing that you have done. Some will enter hell without any accountability. Questions will be asked, but you will enter hell without any accountability. There will not be any trial which will be required because of the actions that were performed. A direct flight into hell. Ayat of Quran 18:105 says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ وَلِقَائِهِ فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. Ayat says they have rejected the revelations of their Lord, so they did go for first thing. And they're meeting with Him. They say, we'll never meet God. This is just a fairy tale. You'll never meet, you'll die, you'll be buried over here. There's nothing beyond this life. Thus their deeds will be made devoid of all virtues. So if they had accumulated good deeds, void, null and void. Habatat amal, right? Their deeds will be void even if they had some good deeds over there. We will not set up a balance for them on the day of resurrection. There will not be a balance for them. They will directly be thrown into the hellfire. This is Surah 18, verse number 105. And fourthly, there will be those who will be sent to paradise without any accountability. Yes, there is a discussion of those individuals as well. Surah Zumur, verse number 10 says, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. How will we treat those who are sabirin? How will they be taken care of? They will be given compensation for every good deed that they have performed, and they will enter paradise without any hisab kitab. So you got four categories right here. Some of us will have very easy hisab. Some of us will have very difficult one. Hopefully none of us will enter hell without any question. And lastly, some of us, inshallah, will enter paradise without any questions being asked. Here, according to some narrations, those who deal with people with forgiveness and mercy, their accountability will be easy. So here is a point for us to understand that even with all the good and bad deeds that we have in this life, but if you are dealing with people with ease, you're dealing with people with forgiveness, with mercy, with compassion, guess what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reciprocate the same thing over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give the same thing to you over there. He will be giving, He will be taking care of you easily, and His hisab kitab with you will be easy. So, if you want to shape up how you want God to treat you over there, you go ahead and start treating the same way people on this land over here, in order for you to have the same thing over there. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Someone might raise a question that polytheists will enter hell without any reckoning, and Sabirin will enter paradise without any reckoning. One might raise a question that, is it possible for one to be mushrik and sabir? Is it not possible for one to be polytheist while they're Sabirin? They've done sabr as well. He said, no, the initial submission to God is the superior element. So Iman comes before all of this. We're talking about these things. First is the Iman, and all of these things will be coming later on. Third discussion is book of Amal, or book of actions, which is known as Namai Amal. There's a lot of discussion in Quran when it comes to the book of righteous, and the book of Ashabul Yamin, wa Ashabul Shimal, Ashabul Maymana, Ashabul Mash'ama, and the discussion is of the right and the left hand people. There's a rule of thumb that if you are given your book of Amal on your right hand, that means you deserve the paradise. You've done good deeds. There are more good deeds in there. If you're handed your Namai Amal in your left hand, then there's going to be difficulty for you. Let's look into the surah, verse number 13 from Surah Bani Israel. وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي أُنُقِهِ وَنُخْرِجَوْ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كِتَابًا يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا. He said, we have attached every person's omen to his neck, and we shall bring it out for him on the day of resurrection as a book that he will find wide open. So here, first the concept is, what kind of book it will be? It will be a book that you and I will be able to understand. It will be a book written in a language that you and I will have complete understanding of. There will not be any ambiguity in it. There will not be anything missing from it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not leave anything, small detail out of it. He said the discussion about the book of action has been repeated on numerous occasions in Quran. For example, in this ayat that I recited, it talks about everyone has a book of action. So nobody will be spared of a book of action. You will be given regardless of what you've done. Good or bad, you will be given the book of action. Second, every action is listed in, and nothing is spared. لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not miss out anything saghir. You say, well, this is a small act. A lot of time what happens when you tell someone that this is wrong, this is makruh, you say, well, forget makruh. I've done so many haram. What is the one makruh going to do? I've committed haram. This is just a makruh. So right away, when we start counting things to be saghir, we start counting a sin to be small, that itself becomes gunah kabira. So anytime you consider a sin to be a small sin, right away you have elevated that sin to the status of major sin, gunah kabira. So here, a lot of time we think that we have given ourselves this license to go ahead and commit makruh just because we have committed so many haram. No, don't be in despair. Don't lose hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With all of the wrong stuff that you have committed, still when you avoid from the makruhat, there's an ayat of Quran, unfortunately my memory does not serve me well, but it says, if you avoid kabira, kaba'ir, tunhauna anhu, we will look over your saghair. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man sabaqat rahmatuhu ghadaba. He said, all you gotta do is stay away from the major sins. We will take care of the minor sins. As long as you're not persistent in your minor sin, stay away from the major sins. Someone might raise a question, what is a major sin? You look in the Quran, the sins which are promising wrath in the hereafter are considered to be major sins. Whenever you hear a sin, after which there's a wrath attached, wrath and the torment of the hereafter, that becomes a major sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you one thing, stay away from kabair, tunhawna anhu, and we will remove the saghar, and we will not even question you in regards to those saghar. It says criminals will be afraid of what's in their book. No doubt. If you know what you have done, one of the questions, one of the reasons, when you ask, and Surah Jummah we recite this, the Jews will be asked, make dua for your death. If you think you're awliya Allah, min dun nas, fatamannaw al-maut in kuntum sadiqin. Ask for death if you are sadiqin. What will they say? وَلَا يَتَمَنَّوْنَهُ أَبَدًا بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ. They will never be asking for death. They claim that they are the awliya Allah. They are the chosen ones. God is saying, if they're the chosen one, ask them to seek or ask for death. They will never seek for death. Why? They're afraid of death. Forget about Jews. Let's talk about ourselves. I think many of us are afraid of death. Rightly so, because, we are afraid of what actions we have committed and what things we have sent forth. إِذَا مَاتَ ابن الْعَادَمِ, when a person dies, قَالَ النَّاسِ مَا تَرَكَ. People will say what? What has he left? Has he left this? Has he left this? What has he left for me? What do I get out of it? قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مَا قَدَّمَ. Malaika will be saying, what has he sent? Forget about what has he left. That what he has left will remain. Someone else will take over that. But whatever he has sent is something which we will embrace and we will bring in front, and that will be his amal. So criminals will be afraid. Criminals will be afraid of what's in their book. فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُشْفِقِينَ مِمَّا فِيهِ. Mujrimeen will be afraid of what's in their book because they're already aware of it. Similar to a person who has gone ahead and given an exam. For example, I ask a child that if he has done a bad job at giving an exam, a paper that he had to give, a test, he's done a bad job at it. He doesn't even want to see the grades. He said, I don't even want to see the grades. Don't even show it to me. We are, in a way, it's an example someone gave, I'll quote it, that a lot of times some of the du'as, it actually belongs to the dua category, but it just came to my mind, that a lot of time our du'as, why they're not accepted? Because these are the du'as that are impossible. For example, a child who in his geography exam wrote, when the question said, where's Mount Everest? He said, North America. And then he comes home and he says, may God bring Mount Everest to North America. No, this dua will never come true. Why? Because you made a mistake, grave mistake. Just looking at this example, a lot of our du'as are same way. We're making du'as for things which were not going to be coming true, and they're impossible for them to come true. So therefore we gotta look twice before the dua that you and I are making. Man will be judged himself looking at his book. اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Read your own book. You will be asked, read your own book. Look what you have done. These are all the actions that you had committed. I'll go through it very quickly. Righteous people will receive their book in the right hand, whereas the inhabitants of hell will receive the book in their left hand. أُوتِيَ كِتَابُهُ بِشِمَالِهِ أَوْ بِيَمِينِهِ. Members of jury in Qiyamah. Who are the members of jury in Qiyamah? So for example, if you and I are amongst those who will go through accountability, when this court is set up, who are the members of jury? These are the members of the jury. Well, some of them are actually the judge over there as well, but they're also part of the jury. He said there are many who will testify on that day against us or for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the witness over everything. I said, Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in shaheed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is witness over everything that you do. So that's a given. We don't even have to talk about that. Second, a prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Surah Nisa 41 says, فَكَيْفَ إِذَا جِئْنَا مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ بِشَهِيدٍ وَجِئْنَا بِكَ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ شَهِيدًا. O Prophet, how will it be then when we bring from every people a witness, then bring you as a witness against them? So our Prophet will be amongst those jury members and witness. Third, will be infallible imams. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. That indeed we made you middle nation, ummat wasat, litakunu shuhada ala nas. Here, Mufassirin have translated litakunu shuhada ala nas as the Imam Ma'asum. Why? Because ordinary people will not have the ability to be part of the jury, to go ahead and give testimony, because they are lacking knowledge and they're lacking wisdom. Number 4, angels will be amongst those jury members. وَجَاءَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَعَهَا سَائِقٌ وَشَهِيدٌ. That every nafs will be brought on that day with two people, with two angels. One who will be pushing him, the driver, sa'iq literally in Arabic means the driver, and the one who will be the witness over him. So we have this idea, we have this understanding, we have these two angels, Raqib and Atid. Raqib is writing, documenting good deeds. Atid is there to document evil or bad that we commit. Kiraman katibin, alladhina wakkaltahum bihifdhi ma yakunu minni waja'altahum shuhada, right? Amirul Mu'mineen in Dua Kumail talks about these. But the beauty is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even keeps some of the things hidden from these kiraman katibin. That is the beauty of it, that when Allah does not want something to be seen by them, He will make them not see it. But His rahmat is to the extent that the riwayah says that Allah tells the angel of Atid that whenever my servant commits something haram, wait for a few hours. Maybe he might repent. If he repents, then you don't have to document that evil deed at all. On the opposite of it, He says, whenever my servant thinks about doing something good, even if he has not done it, write it down into his amal, lest he will forget about it and he will not commit it or he will not perform it. So that there goes the ability and there goes the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if we do something wrong, God makes us wait until we repent. So He does not even document it at all. And if we think about doing something good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it, write it down in the amal of us. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Our conscience will be amongst the jury members. Iqra kitabika bi nafsik. Organs of the body will also be amongst the jury who will be testifying for or against us. يَوْمَ تَشْهُدُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَلْسِنَتُهُمْ وَأَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. On that day, their tongues, their hands, their feet shall bear witness against them as what they used to do. Also you read in Surah Yasin, الْيَوْمَ نَخْتِمُ عَلَىٰ أَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَتُكَلِّمُنَا أَيْدِيهِمْ وَتَشْهُدُ أَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. What does it say? Today we have sealed their mouths. That one thing that we had for our defense, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will seal that place so that you and I will not be able to say a word, but every other aspect, every other organ of our body will be coming out and will be given witness. Number 7, time will bear witness. According to the dua from Sayyid Sajjadi, dua number 8 from our 4th Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salatu wassalam. He said, هَذَا يَوْمٌ حَادِثٌ جَدِيدٌ وَهُوَ عَلَيْنَا شَاهِدٌ عَتِيدٌ. This is a new day, new beginning. This day will bear witness on the day of judgment about our actions. And actions themselves will also be bearing witness against us. You say, what does that mean? Any action that you and I perform today, there is the tajassum and embodiment of that action in the hereafter. Anything that you and I do over here, for example, it says in the ayat of Quran, that whoever eats the mal of yatim, yakuluna fi butunihim nara, they are eating and consuming fire in their bellies. This is the embodiment of the evil actions. So therefore, everything will be embodied in the day of judgment. As our actions, they will come and bear witness against. And inshallah, we'll conclude with the forgive so that you will be forgiven. There's one way that we can get the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that He says, وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. He said, let them excuse and forbear. Do you not love that Allah should forgive you as well? Yes, we have come here. There's so many people who are no longer with us. They were here last year. This month of Ramadan, so many people that were there last year, they're no longer here. Either they moved away or they're no longer alive. What is the guarantee that you will get to live until next Ramadan? Here, if you have any grudge for anyone, here if you have any sort of grudge that you hold, that person that you haven't spoken to in a while, that family member that you have not talked to, that, aunt, that uncle, that, relative that you're at odds with, go ahead and make up with them. Go ahead and resolve your issues. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you deal with people with mercy and honor today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with you in the same way. If you forgive someone today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you tomorrow. Treat people the way you want to be treated on the day of judgment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us a tawfiq that we're able to follow these commands of Quran and Masumin alayhimus salatu wassalam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.